Today on the Daily Scoop podcast from the Scoop News Group. USAID deepens its embrace of AI. And National Cyber Director Coker pushes federal coherence. It's Monday, July 22nd, 2024. Welcome to the Daily Scoop podcast, where you'll hear the latest news and trends facing government leaders. I'm the host of the Daily Scoop podcast, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for joining me. Here are today's top headlines. The U.S. Global Development Agency is continuing to focus on the opportunities and potential challenges raised by artificial intelligence. After USAID revealed a democracy, human rights, and governance policy last Thursday, Administrator Samantha Power highlighted the need to use technology to strengthen democracy, while also remaining vigilant about the ways the same kind of tools could be used to harm people. In remarks delivered about the policy, Power pointed to the ways technologies like AI and spyware could be used to help authoritarians, while systems like facial recognition could be used to challenge dissent and silence critics. Power said in her speech that, quote, "This policy expands our toolbox so that we can keep up with fast-moving technology that can be weaponized against citizens. As the agency's first ever credo on digital democracy, it codifies our intent to counter the rise of digital repression at its source. We are working with lawyers, judges, legislatures, and other oversight organizations to develop national strategies and standards around the use of technologies," end quote. Power also pointed to initiatives meant to increase transparency into the ways new technological platforms and data are used, while also raising awareness about the way these systems could manipulate people. Power also met this week with Dario Amodei, CEO of AI company Anthropic, to discuss how AI could be used in global development. That discussion included a focus on use cases for the technology. Power's announcement also came just days after Isabel Coleman, the agency's deputy administrator, spoke about the technology and its potential impact at the Global AI Leadership Summit. Coleman spoke at length about the potential for artificial intelligence, pointing specifically to use cases deployed in Mexico and India. In other news, in an interview with CyberScoop this week that touched on the cyber workforce, the biggest unsolved problems in cybersecurity, and much more, National Cyber Director Harry Coker said one of his top goals going forward is to push federal coherence, meaning he really wants to step into his job's function as a coordinator collaborating with and uniting other parts of the federal government around cybersecurity. In the interview, Coker stressed that, quote, "We lead by collaboration," and that ONCD doesn't have to be first in line or at the top of the list as long as it's working together with the rest of the federal government to push in the right direction. Coker assumed office almost exactly 7 months ago, inheriting the role of the second ever Senate-confirmed National Cyber Director from Chris Inglis. The departure of Inglis came amid reported acrimony between himself and Neuberger, Deputy National Security Advisor for Cyber, and Jen Easterly, the head of the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. Stepping into that trio, Coker said he is confident, which is better than comfortable, that we are doing well. Coker wasn't in the administration before to say how well the relationships were going at the time, he said, but he has weekly conversations with Neuberger and Easterly, and all three organizations talk constantly. That collaboration extends also to other agencies, such as when the Office of the National Cyber Director teamed with the Office of Management and Budget to outline cyber priorities for the federal government for fiscal year 2026 budget. The reception from agencies, Coker said, suggested that they appreciated the office's work on the budget process. Coker's office also turns frequently to the National Institute of Standards and Technology for expertise on topics like promoting memory-safe computer languages. For more news at the intersection of the federal government and technology, visit fedscoop.com. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Daily Scoop podcast, available on all podcast platforms. If you've already rated the podcast on your platform of choice, thanks so much. High ratings and good reviews of the show help more people to find it. The Daily Scoop podcast is a production of the Scoop News Group in Washington, D.C. Adam Butler and Carlin Fisher help put the show together, and the entire Scoop News Group team contributes. We'll be back tomorrow with more top headlines. Until then, I'm your host, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for listening.